In a few hours, Zeus will literally run away from you through the halls of Olympus, and Thanatos, death himself, will come up with some lame excuse not to have lunch at your table. But hold on, right now, you're still in bed, enjoying the heavy silence of your room that makes a funeral look like a kid's birthday party. Today you woke up, but you are Oysis, the Greek goddess of misery, anguish, and lamentation, daughter of Nyx, the night, sister of Thanatos and Hypnos, and officially the one creature that nobody, absolutely nobody, wants to see showing up at a party. You open your eyes, your bedroom ceiling is gray, the walls are gray, the sheets are gray. Technically, you could decorate with other colors, but why? Gray goes with everything you represent. You stretch slowly and let out a sigh so deep that somewhere in Greece, a shepherd just lost his will to live without knowing why. You get up and walk to the mirror. Your reflection stares back with sunken eyes and an expression that mixes existential boredom with quiet satisfaction. Because here's the secret nobody in Olympus knows. You love your job. Every tear shed because of you, every sigh of despair, every moment when someone looks at the ceiling and thinks, "Why do I exist?" All of it fills you with a joy you hide with the skill of an award-winning actress. I watch you rehearse your neutral expression in the mirror, or perfect. No god would ever suspect that behind this mask of indifference exists a genuinely happy creature. You head down to breakfast in Olympus's communal hall. The atmosphere is lively. Apollo's telling a joke. Hermes is laughing loudly. Aphrodite adjusts her hair for the 100th time. Then you walk in. The silence is immediate. It's not the respectful kind of silence. It's that heavy, damp silence that settles in your chest and makes people question every choice they've made in life. Apollo stops smiling mid-joke. Hermes looks down. Aphrodite, for the first time in millennia. You walk to the table with slow steps, grabbing an apple. Inside, you're beaming. Outside, your expression is complete neutrality, as if you haven't even noticed you just sucked the joy out of an entire room. Zeus is at the head of the table, and you notice the exact moment he sees you. The king of the gods, who defeated titans, who commands lightning, who has faced unimaginable monsters, swallows hard. He looks at his plate, then at the door, calculating if he can come up with an excuse to leave. You sit down, right next to him. The color drains from Zeus's face. Not literally, but almost. He tries to maintain composure, clears his throat, and forces a smile that looks more like a grimace of pain. "Good morning, Oysis." "Good morning, Zeus." Your voice is neutral, almost gentle. Inside, you're having more fun than Dionysus at a wine harvest. Zeus grabs his goblet of nectar too tightly, as if it's an anchor to his sanity. I have to admit, you're an artist. The way you maintain this facade of indifference while clearly savoring every second of others' discomfort is worthy of applause. Silent and depressing applause, but applause nonetheless. Athena, who was on the other side of the table discussing military strategies, stops talking mid-sentence. She looks at you, frowns, and suddenly seems to have completely lost interest in the subject. Ares, next to her, who would normally be arguing violently about battle tactics, is just staring into space, contemplating the futility of war, of existence, of everything. You bite into the apple. The sound echoes in the silence. Hera stands up abruptly, mumbling something about matters to resolve. Poseidon follows seconds later. Aphrodite makes up that she needs to check something urgent at the Temple of Love. One by one, the gods find reasons to leave, abandoning half-eaten plates and unfinished conversations. Zeus is the last one. He clearly wants to flee, but as king of the gods, he feels obligated to at least try to keep up appearances. So he begins, not knowing how to continue. "How's work?" "Productive," you answer without emotion. Zeus nods frantically, as if that single word had been a complete lecture. "Great, great, good, excellent. I have to lightning, storms, king stuff." He practically runs out of the hall, the king of the gods, running away from you. Outside, you continue eating your apple with the same empty expression. Inside, you're having the divine equivalent of a laughing fit. This is better than any ambrosia. If I were you, I'd be worried about the complete lack of social life. But clearly, you've turned loneliness into entertainment. With the hall empty, you finish your breakfast in peace. Well, peace for you. For any other creature, that silence would be deafening. But you're in your element. You decide to take a walk through Olympus. Not because you need to, but because every hallway you cross leaves a trail of melancholy that lasts for hours. It's like marking territory, but instead of scent, you leave existentialism. You pass by the garden where the muses usually rehearse. The moment they see you, the music stops. Not gradually. It stops all at once, as if someone had ripped the strings off all the lyres simultaneously. Calliope, the muse of epic poetry, opens her mouth for a verse, and what comes out is just a long, defeated sigh. You wave politely and keep walking. Behind you, one of the muses murmurs, "Suddenly I see no meaning in art." Delicious. Further ahead, you run into Eros, flying distractedly with his bow. The god of love sees you, and immediately his wings seem heavier. He lands clumsily, looking at his own arrows as if he'd forgotten what they're for. "Oysis," he greets, trying to maintain his characteristic energy. He can't. "Beautiful day, isn't it?" You look at the perfectly blue sky of Olympus and reply, "It's a day." Eros is silent. For a moment, processing. Then, without another word, he puts away his bow and walks off in the opposite direction, mumbling something about, "Maybe love is just a collective illusion." You don't even say goodbye. You just continue your stroll, leaving a trail of existential questioning wherever you go. I notice you're having fun, but your expression remains unwavering. Frankly, you should teach poker classes. Then you see him, Thanatos, your brother, death personified, standing at the end of the hallway, clearly deciding whether to pretend he didn't see you or face the situation. He decides to face it. Bad choice. Thanatos walks toward you with the posture of someone going to their own execution, which is ironic considering who he is. His black wings are slightly drooped, and even from a distance you can see the discomfort in his eyes. Sister, brother, you stop face. The air between you two is so heavy, it's probably causing an epidemic of melancholy in some Greek city down below. "How's work?" he asks, out of pure obligation. "Good. And the souls? Still dying? That's good." The dialogue is so dry, it would make the Sahara Desert look like a swamp. Thanatos shifts his weight from one foot to the other. Death, the creature that ends lives, that witnesses the last breath of every mortal, that walks between worlds without hesitation, is visibly uncomfortable, and you're loving every second. I need to pause here to appreciate the irony. Death is uncomfortable around you, and you're so intense, you make the very finality of existence seem like a walk in the park. "I was going to have lunch," Thanatos begins, "and you already know what's coming, but I remembered I have some souls to collect. A lot of souls. An epidemic. You know how it is. Lots of work. Bye." He's gone before you can respond. Death literally ran away from you. Inside, you're beaming. Outside, you just watch him leave with the same neutral expression as always. If you're enjoying watching Death run away from his own sister, leave a like. It's the only form of misery that feeds me. Midday arrives, and you decide to visit the mortal world, not out of obligation. Technically, you don't need to do anything. Your mere existence already spreads anguish. But because you like to see your work in action, you descend to a small Greek village. It's an ordinary day. Fishermen working, children playing, women at the markets. Then you arrive. There's no fanfare, no thunder or divine signs. You simply appear, invisible to mortals, but your presence is felt immediately. The fisherman who was singing while mending his net stops singing. He looks at the net, then at the sea, and suddenly wonders why he spent his entire life doing this. The children who were playing get quieter, without understanding why. One of them sits on the ground and stares at their own hands, contemplating the transience of childhood. You stroll through the village like a ghost, leaving small doses of anguish wherever you pass. Nothing dramatic. You're not Ate, the goddess of ruin. You're more subtle. You're that inexplicable feeling of emptiness that appears in the middle of a perfectly normal day. That moment when someone stops and thinks, what if none of this has meaning? That's you. A young couple who were holding hands stops walking. They look at each other and for no apparent reason begin to question whether what they feel is really love or just fear of loneliness. The conversation that was light becomes heavy. Questions that were buried come to the surface. I watch you watching this with the same empty expression, but I know that inside you're having the divine equivalent of applause. You spend hours in the village, savoring every heavy sigh, every lost gaze, every moment of existential doubt your presence causes. When you finally decide to leave, the entire village is covered by an invisible fog of melancholy that will last for days. Job done. You return to Olympus in the late afternoon. The sun is setting, painting the sky orange and pink, colors you completely ignore because, honestly, natural beauty is irrelevant when you're the personification of misery. On the way to your quarters, you cross paths with Hypnos, your other brother. The god of sleep is predictably half asleep, leaning against a column. He opens one eye when he feels your approach. Oysis, Hypnos. Unlike Thanatos, Hypnos doesn't run away. He's too drowsy to have the energy required to flee. Besides, being the god of sleep, he already deals with nightmares and to end night terrors, you're almost familiar. Productive day? He yawns. As always, he closes his eye again. You seem satisfied. You freeze, only for a millisecond, but you freeze. Did he notice? Did your mask slip? I don't know what you're talking about. Your voice remains neutral. Hypnos is already almost asleep again. Must be my imagination. You move on, your divine heart beating a little faster. Nobody can know. Nobody can find out that you, the goddess of misery, are secretly the most satisfied creature in Olympus. I know. But I'm just an omniscient and sarcastic raccoon, so your secret is safe with me. Night falls on Olympus. You're in your quarters. Finally alone. Finally without the need to maintain the facade. And then it happens. You smile. It's not a big or dramatic smile. It's a small, contained smile, almost imperceptible, but it's there. The goddess of misery, smiling alone in her gray room, mentally replaying all the moments of the day. Zeus running away, Thanatos making up excuses, the muses losing inspiration, Eros questioning love. The entire village plunged into anguish. It was a good day. You lie down in bed, still with that ghost of a smile on your lips. The gray ceiling stares back at you, but you don't care. You close your eyes, satisfied with your work, satisfied with your existence, satisfied to be exactly what you are. The final irony, the only creature in the universe who finds genuine happiness in misery is precisely the goddess of misery. And nobody will ever know. I close, observing you fall asleep with that expression of peace that no mortal or immortal has ever witnessed. Tomorrow you'll wake up, put on your mask of indifference, and do it all over again, and again, and again, for eternity. Because in the end, you found the secret everyone searches for, genuinely loving what you do. It's just a shame that what you do is destroy the joy of others. Sleep well, Oysis. Tomorrow, there's more.